Tatum puts up a three.
Welcome to the Celtics Rewind. I'm JP.
And I am Nat The GM. What's up, y'all?
What up, Celtic fans? This is episode 16 of the Celtics Rewind, talking all things Boston Celtics, winning 9 games in a row. What else can we do? Best record in the league. JP, the franchise. I got my co-host with me, Nat The GM. Nat, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. Only the team with 9 wins? You said 9 wins straight?
9 straight wins in a row. Cleveland ended theirs, and then the Clippers, earlier ended theirs. So really happy about it, though.
All the pretenders ended their streaks.
Yeah, they ended them streaks. They ended their streaks, and then we have a little streak of Tom Brady running in the 40-yard dash a lot faster than he did in the draft. So it's a good Thursday so far. I cannot lie. So we got a special guest, and I'll tell you what, she is a Pelicans super fan, one of the dopest NBA content creators. It doesn't even matter which team. She is really dope, especially with the Pelicans content. Oh man, I just love what she does. I love what she does. We have Will Miles. Will, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I appreciate y'all having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's like, yo, man, who can we get around? We're going to be at the game. If I want to talk.
Hey, as soon as she said,
call her.
I said, you know what? You're right. Let me go ahead and get her. And y'all can go ahead and tag team it and all that. And I'll just sit back and just have my Jason Tatum shirt and my lemonade. And y'all just go ahead and get to work, though. So, the Boston Celtics, like I said, they've been on their 9-game winning streak and all that. Coming off the All-Star break, they defeated the Chicago Bulls. They defeated the New York Knicks, thank goodness, because, Sean with the W was like all over my case, and then we beat them, and then I had to let them know that we're still number one. So beating the Knicks, and then we went up against Chris's 76ers team, kind of depleted without Joel Embiid, and beat them. I'm going to start with you, Well. Out of the 3 games, which one did you look at in terms of like a recap or takeaway that you seen that Boston did differently, or just or all the games? Like, what's some takeaways that you got with what the Celtics did the past 3 games?
Man, what the Celtics have been doing this season, I can't even really put into words, man. It's like they just dominating. You know what I mean? And every night you're not going to go out there and look your absolute best. And I think there's been nights that they've gone out there and they haven't looked their best and they're still taking care of business, right? So they're not a team that I ever look forward to my Pelicans facing. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like, here we go again. And when we played the Celtics, the one time we played them earlier this season, I feel like it didn't seem like it was a game that we were going to win, but we kept it close. And they gave the fans a little bit of hope. And then Derek White snatched our souls the way his hairline used to be snatched. He snatched our souls.
That's
JP finna die.
He bald now, though. He took it off, though. He good.
Bro, they bullied this man. They bullied this man into shaving his head, man. This is all on like the TNT crew, right? That was Chuck and like Shaq and all of them. They was down bad for that, but hey, he had to mute himself because he laughing so hard. But no, for real, in all seriousness, Derek White absolutely like murdered us towards into that game. He was like, you know what, it's time to put an end to this. And he ended it like a true pro, you know what I mean? And so that's the type of guy, I wish the Pelicans had on their team to just be like, look, enough of this. We letting them hang around. Let's put this game away. Let's go home. So anyhow, not to make it about the Pelicans, that's just my experience so far facing the Celtics this season and pretty much any season that they've had, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and company. So they're taking care of business. And so as someone who is just from the outside looking in, of course, I'm going to wonder this success that they're having in the regular season, are they going to be able to not only replicate that in the playoffs, but once if you get to the finals again, are you going to be able to take care of business, get over that hump, and get yourself another championship? So, I mean, only time will tell.
Hey, great analysis too as well, and that was very, very shady of that Derek White comment and all that. Well, we're sensitive over here in Celtic land, right here. And shout out to Manscaped.
You know why? You know why I
Go ahead.
said that
Well,
about
why you
Derek
say
White?
that? Why did you say that?
I have a really weird dislike for a lot of people who used to play for the Spurs. With the Spurs being in the Southwest Division with the Pelicans, and the Spurs giving us so much hell, there's a lot of guys that used to play for them that when I see them now, I'll be like, oh, I'm scarred. That's it. It's just I'm speaking from a place of trauma.
Wow. I wonder what you're gonna say about Wemby 10 years from now. So we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, once they get good, yeah, he's definitely gonna start to get on my nerves. So far, we've been, he hasn't been able to really hurt us this season. But once they get good, yeah, he's next year. I'm not ready for that.
Literally, if
I'm
he
not ready for
had
that.
like a team around him, like a small floor, that
Or a
can
point
get you
guard.
22, 23 points, a point guard that can get you like 18 and 10. If he had these pieces of guys that you can just depend on as some game changers, that play well together, it'd be disgusting. It'd be like the equivalent to the Houston Texans this season, with CJ Stroud, how amazing he played his first season, his rookie season. It was amazing. It'd be simple like that, in the playoffs and everything like that, just scaring the hell out of everybody. So give it some time. They're gonna be a nuisance. This is why Pop didn't retire, y'all. This is why Pop said, "I'm come back," because he knew down the pipeline that Wemby was right there. That man was not going nowhere. So we knew this.
Yeah. I've seen a couple Spurs fans kind of fawning over Trae Young a lot lately. Because really, if Wemby had a point guard or just somebody that's prioritizing getting him the ball, it would be a world of a difference. Like, you see the memes out there about how Wemby's like, I'm open, guys, and then the rest of the team is on the other half of the meme, and they're like, yay, we're on TV. And that's really what it feels like. It's like they're just out there vibing, but bro, your man is open. He getting to the rim, and he can put the ball over anybody down there, but y'all not trying to get him the ball. So like they just need like some guys over there with a little better IQ. Like Pop can only do so much, you know what I mean? So yeah, once they get somebody in there with, and it don't even have to be like a point guard type of material dude, but just like a savvy point guard who knows how to get the ball down to the big man. And I think they'll be good. And it's not something I look forward to seeing.
You get a Trae Young in San Antonio. That's going to be a problem because
nasty.
Trae Young got to get out of Atlanta. And if he gets around somebody like Popovich, buys into Popovich, you talking about Wemby, Trae Young, then that means like, all right, now we can go get a wing or somebody's going to develop, and rest their game. Now you got like a nice 1-2 punch, or you might have a nice 1-2-3 punch. That's all you need. Somebody like Wemby, he's NBA ready. Like, it's crazy how this man is. Crazy.
Yeah.
Is he even 19?
This is also how I'm sorry. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's a 2000 baby.
19,
That's crazy.
I feel like Trae Young going to San Antonio would be the way for him to beat the coach killer allegations, because you're not gonna get Pop up out of there. Like, if anything, they'll ship you out. You're not gonna get
that. Is real.
So this is his chance.
That's right.
To go somewhere.
So we just talking about Wemby.
No. Hey, y'all got great chemistry. I was gonna say there is a point guard out there that is still out there. His name is Corey Joseph. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Hey, yo.
I'm joking. I love Corey Joseph.
I mean,
yeah, shout out to him. No disrespect. I love Corey Joseph. So, but Nat. So the past 3 games, what's your takeaways, or what's your thoughts of the Celtics, and what did they do better? What did they prove to fans and just other teams in the league? What did you take away the past 3 games of the Celtics?
Business as usual. This is the most enjoyable Celtics season, I'll say. that I've had in a while. Like, I don't enjoy every Celtics season. They stress me out, and sometimes, people looking at them, and I'm like, they think, oh, you're gonna win it, and I'm like, I don't think so, and it was like last year, the year before, I'm like, nah, they're not. They're gonna do something. Why? Just wait for it. Just wait for it. And it happens every time. Like, when they asked me, did you have your team in the finals versus the Golden State Warriors? I said, hell no, I did not. I was like, I knew that they weren't going to win that series, and people think I'm crazy, but I knew they weren't going to win that series. I said, when they made the final, I said, well, shit, that's it. That's as far as they're going to go, and it's just, they developed some bad habits that I felt like they are breaking this year. And I saw an article that Wick, he was just like, which is the Celtics owner, he was just like, after they lost that playoff series last year, he said, we can't come back with the same team. And I said, like, thank God he said that, because I'm like, I've been saying it for 3 seasons. You can't keep doing this shit, and like I said, I love Marcus Smart. There's just certain blue guys, Rob, everyone knows I'm a huge Malcolm Brogdon fan. I still have not gotten over Malcolm Brogdon not being a Celtic. I'm still not over it. I still got some feelings about it. But they just are breaking some bad habits. Now when the games get close, they know how to execute down the stretch. This is something that they were not doing before. They don't have to live by the 3. The last game, I think that they shot terrible from 3 and they still won the game, so it's not, contingent on, making a certain 40% of your threes, 45% of your threes. So they're figuring it out. And it's what you have to do, because in the playoffs, everything is not going to go, smooth. It's not going to be smooth sailing. It's a game of runs. It's a game of matchups. And right now, what you're seeing is Drew Holiday is paying dividends quietly. You're not really paying attention to him, because you're paying attention to JP. I think JP. I'm looking right at you, JP. You're paying attention to JT. You're paying attention to JB. And KP. But Drew Holiday has a certain steadiness about him that it just pays dividends for this team. He never gets too high up. He never gets too far down. He's always cool, calm, and collected, and gathering his guys, knowing that he can have 5.7 assists, and that's a great game for him, because he probably got the ball where it needed to go. So it's a wonderful feeling to see that the ownership took us seriously, went and got guys that made sense. And now what I'm seeing is, KP has been amazing for this team. And there are things that we can do that we just could not do before. Al Horford doesn't have to do as much. And that's just what you're seeing now. So now Joe is playing with lineups. If you notice, he's just playing with it. He's like, all right, let me see what I can do here, and it's great. So I just see them being consistent. And now Joe is playing with his playoff rotation. And now we're going to see what happens moving forward. In the playoffs, when he has like his game plan. Okay, we're playing this team, and this team, and I know what I want to do. That's the next step, what we're looking for right now.
I agree with you 100%. The 3-point shooting against Philadelphia is one of the things I took away from the takeaways the past 3 games. Shooting 22.7%. It was really terrible, but they found a way to win that game in a different way. Are y'all buying into the Joe Mazzulla philosophy that he's finally been preaching about, in terms of like, we don't really shoot too many threes. We'll hit them. We'll shoot it if we're wide open, but like, we're going to go and attack the paint. Are you buying into Joe Mazzulla's philosophy offensively?
They're second in.
I think
they're second in post-ups, though. This is the thing. They're second in post-ups, if I'm not mistaken, second and third, but they're top 3, and they're number 1 in 3-point attempts. And I think, is it looks as well? I gotta look that up. But when they shoot them, they make them, like the majority of the time. The majority of the time too. So at this stage, I am buying into Joe and what he's saying, because now we're like, what are we, 60 games in or something like that, 50 something games in or whatever, I'm buying into it because the ball's going in the hoop. And if not, KP is in the paint. KP spends a lot of time in the paint, and you call him a zone buster. He can bust a zone. That just does not work this year with KP in there. So I'm buying into it this year. Joe is actually not going to get as much slack as he does from me like he did previously, because I'm like, all right, I understand it. I think he's learned a lot, so I'm good on him. I'm buying into Joe this year, y'all. But he got this 1 year with me, one playoff run. Yeah, I'm going on a tangent. I'm going on a run if it don't work out in the playoffs. I'm telling you this right now.
I'm telling you, and if there's a sour note by the Celtics, if you want to hear Nat's pipe bomb, hey, we're all in for it. So, but yeah, I'm buying into Joe Mazzulla's philosophy too as well. He's probably going to end up being coach of the year. If not, it could be the OKC coach. I love the fact that he trolled Kendrick Perkins. He was like, "Oh, well, we do push-ups too, Kendrick, and our Kendrick is be kind of salty and kind of hating on the Celtics a little bit though, but it is what it is though." And then also, just the way in the third quarter we've been playing, because I had an issue the first half of the season that we wasn't really great in terms of the third quarter. The past 3 games, the third quarter, we've been blowing teams out offensively, which is really good. So it's getting really better in terms of the third quarter for the Celtics though. But I'll tell you this, the next 5 games is going to be really, really challenging, because tomorrow they got the Dallas Mavericks, then they got the Golden State Warriors on Sunday, then they got the Cleveland Cavaliers on Tuesday, they got the Denver Nuggets on next Thursday, they got the Phoenix Suns next Saturday. It's going to be quite a tough stretch for the Celtics. The game I'm especially looking forward to, 2 games actually, the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets, just because I just feel like we just don't play our best game against those 2 teams, unfortunately. But we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see what they do. I know you're a Pelicans fan, and we're going to get into some Pelicans content a little bit later. But in terms of with the Celtics, what game are you looking forward to the most?
That Nuggets one for sure. Definitely want to see how they stack up against them. I think as far as the Warriors go, they're not really a team I'm like so much worried about. And I definitely recognize that like Steph Curry's not a guy that you want to like count out. But just as a team, I'm not so much like interested in seeing too much of them, especially like against the Celtics. I think the Celtics got that in the bag, but I'd be more interested in seeing what's going on against the defending champs.
I feel that, Nat.
Yeah, when it comes to games, I care nothing about any of the ones you said except the Nuggets and the Warriors. I heard nothing else that you said, because when it comes to the rest of them, it's like we've either beaten them or, we're not going to see Phoenix unless they get to the finals. I don't see them getting to the finals because there's some things that they haven't worked out, with that team, and they haven't had a coach all year. Like, they've been coaching themselves all year. Frank Vogel has not made an appearance at all. Not one game Frank Vogel is not approached like the bench. He's not coaching, so therefore they're coaching themselves. It's just real. Watch how they play. I'm telling you, you would think that he's asleep over there. I'm telling you right there, but he's not coaching, y'all. He's not. But when it comes to the Warriors, they're not going to get to the finals either. I just think that based on how certain teams are built in the West this time around, I just don't see it happening. Especially if they get caught again going against like let's say Denver. If they get caught with Denver, you're not going to beat Denver. You can just tell by just the matchups and everything. Denver is just a well-oiled machine, very consistent. They buy in. They don't. I think that they've had some lows this year, like that I didn't see last year, I will say. So I'm interested to see how they play out the rest of the season. But Boston, if you beat the Warriors, it's just for shits and giggles at this point, because we just can't seem to beat them guys. Everybody has a career year or a career game versus Boston. If you wear a Golden State Warriors uniform, you just like rewind the end of time and just be killing me, But The Nuggets, I really want to see how they play because they lost that game and it was close. And I remember in that game, they said, you guys couldn't do anything with Joker. I said, well, no one can do anything with Joker. But you guys struggled. The Denver Nuggets struggled against KP. They couldn't do anything with KP. KP moves way too much for Joker, and Joker's always late getting back to KP. And I thought that was something they could have capitalized on and potentially had won that January 18th game I think they played. They potentially could have won that game. So I want to see those two games, but specifically that Denver Nuggets game is special because that could potentially be the finals look, and that's something you want to see. Have you guys learned, from a month and a half ago? What have you learned? So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, Jokic kind of made me cry last time after they defeated us at home. That was our first home loss, but hopefully there's no tears, sponsored by Kleenex that kind of helps me, I'm good. Hopefully I'll recover from this. So, but anyways, great talk with the Celtics. Let's get into some Pelicans talk and everything. What is your goals of the second half of the Pelicans? What difference did you need to see with the Pelicans that you didn't see in the first half that they need to do better?
They so in the first half of the season they had this real big issue where they would get these double-digit leads and then blow them and lose the game. Like, it happened literally like at least 10 times. And they were like top 3 teams in the league to be doing something like that. And so that kind of goes back to me saying, I wish we had a dude that's like, you know what, enough. Let's shut down this other team's comeback and let's go ahead and win the game. They've gotten a little bit better about that, but I still don't completely trust them to not put themselves in these situations. And there's also been a couple times where they get down by 20 points and they fight back, man. They'll come back and they'll get it down to 5 points, whatever have you. But then you allow the other team to go on a run and open the lead back up to 10 or 12 points, which is exactly what happened last night with the Pacers, given the Pelicans got into Indianapolis at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that just, and it was on a back-to-back. So that was like almost a scheduled loss. And I hate to say losses are scheduled, but that was jacked up what happened yesterday. But I need to see them, specifically guys like Brandon Ingram, take control. Like there's last night, CJ McCollum had a really bad shot, like in the clutch or whatever. Like Brandon Ingram should have been demanding the ball in that moment, be like, look, give me the ball. I'm going to get to my spot and I'm going to do my thing, But he can also stand to work on certain things. Like he takes these ridiculous, like these tough shots that are heavily contested when really you don't have to do that, But it's also on the coach to put them in better situations. Why don't you spread the floor a little bit more? Put your best shooters out there, I'm not saying Matt Ryan's going to come and save us, but the guy can shoot the ball, But he can shoot the ball. Jordan Hawkins, he's a rookie. He can shoot the hell out of the ball. And so it's like we have so many like tools that we don't even know what to do with. And something that was mentioned on TV a couple nights ago when we were playing the Knicks, and they were saying it seems like the Pelicans, they have all these pieces and they don't know when to play them. And I was like, this man is just watching us because I know he ain't been watching us and he can see this just in like 2.5 quarters. Like it's a glaring thing. So Willie Green needs to figure out his rotations. The guys need to figure out how to like close games and not make these timely mistakes. And maybe, just maybe, they can get into the playoffs outright and not have to worry about the play-in. But I mean, if you get into the playoffs outright, you got to worry about like, playoffs start today, we got to play the Nuggets. What am I going to do with that, bruh? Like, that's not going to end well for us. So it's like everyone has their different definitions on, what would make this season a success. I mean, I think that if we got straight to the playoffs and ended up getting swept by the Nuggets, it would still be a success because we got into the playoffs. And last year we didn't. So, and also we need to win more games than we won last year. I think we went like 42-40 or something like that. So if you can keep increasing your wins and get, 45, 46, however many wins, that'll be a success compared to what it was the last season. But there's just like, by this point, they should have so much data on what they have. And I feel like they just don't. And there's been a lot of injuries and there's been a lot of guys, in and out of the lineup. And we haven't done that many trades and things like that. So they're just like a weird like box of chocolates and you don't really know. You don't know what you're going to get. There's this inconsistency where you don't know what Pelicans team you're going to get on any given night. And that's a problem. I think they kind of struggle a little bit with like their identity.
I totally understand that when you said that they blow leads, it reminds me of last year's Celtics blowing leads and everything. So that just kind of took me back to memory lane right there. Nat, your thoughts on the Pelicans?
Yeah, so quietly, I'll be whispering this. I really like the Pelicans. I root for them every year. Every year, I'm more hopeful than a lot of people. And it's because you got a couple guys that I sweat. I love these guys. Got CJ McCollum and Ingram. I love those dudes. I follow them wherever they go. I will follow them. It's just something about their game I just really love. And CJ McCollum is one of those dudes there. He was he was outshined a little bit with Dame, but everything they didn't progress in Portland, it was always CJ McCollum's fault. And he doesn't fit with Dame, but Dame doesn't fit with CJ McCollum, and CJ McCollum can do more than what you're giving him. It was never that. It was always the other part. So I love seeing him on a team where I can see him make 5 threes, get 6 assists, got 20 points or 6 assists or 18 points or something like that. And he's shooting the ball well, and he's playing freely. He's healthy. I love seeing him like that. I think that when I look at the Pelicans, I'm now looking at the coach, and I'm wondering if the time is up, for the coach, because usually when someone says or people say it's like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. That's a coaching problem. That's an identity problem.
Yeah.
So I think that it might be, it's his time is up for this team, because when I look at the roster, I'm like, and then I go over there and I look at like Minnesota. And I look at the roster in New Orleans, and I go back and forth with Minnesota, and I'm like, So I'm like, why isn't, New Orleans having similar success? Because I'm like, they got the players to do it, And when I look at, New Orleans, I look at the Pelicans, I'm like, they got dogs on that team. How come they don't have those pit bulls that they got on that bench, which was in their audible, and you got Trey Murphy too, right? That's his name. You got some dogs on the team. Why are we putting them out there and be like, okay, the dogs are out and they're hunting, So now they're getting aggressive, and it's leading to offense. To me, that's in the identity of the Pelicans, and I think that the offense smoother, and
for sure.
I think that when that happens and that switch happens, I think they're gonna have great success, because they have a lot of really good pieces on there. They just gotta figure out how to play them, and to me, that's just a coach. You gotta know what you have. So guys out there, but I really like this Pelicans team, and I can only hope that they get into the playoffs, because they're fun in the playoffs, first of all, and let's say. I see a matchup right now that I would love to see. It's 2 of them with the Pelicans. I see Sacramento Kings, and then I see the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's 2. I would want to see that, because I don't know who can win that. I tell you right now, I don't know who can win it, but I'm telling you, the Pelicans got a great shot at beating both of them.
Man, and talking to a lot of Kings fans, because somehow I just got like intertwined and ingrained in Kings Twitter somehow. I got a lot of people over there I got love for. They don't want that. They don't want it at all. The Pelicans are 4-0 against the Kings this season, and because we ended up playing them in the quarterfinals or whatever in the in-season tournament, that gave us an extra game against them. So we still got to play them one more time, even though we've already played them 4 times. But they tired of seeing us. But I feel like they're a team that can have the type of game against us that the Pacers had. Like, just run. But somehow we were able to figure them out. Like, I don't know what we was doing in them 4 games, but in the last time we played them, I want to say we had their fans booing in the first half. Like, things was just, everything was going our way. But you were it is. And it's like, there's not a lot of like really good matchups for like Jonas Valanciunas, but I feel like Sabonis can't really do too much. Like, I feel like he's undersized when it comes to Jonas. But like, there's other bigs like, let's say Naz Reid coming off the bench for Minnesota. Jonas can't do nothing with him, and so our backup, we don't even play a backup center. we just leave Larry Nance out there to back up 5 to die. Like, he's not really a center, and I love Larry Nance, but like Willie will send him out there and be like, yeah, because I'm not playing Cody Zeller. I'm like, okay, but like,
I think that's
can we
crazy,
get some
but
size?
I think he should
It's
play with
insane.
the lineup of sitting, not playing Zion and JV at the same time all the time, and maybe let JV play with the bench more, because get him more touches. That's what I always have said since I've seen them, because usually what I see is Zion actually does very well at the 5. He's very physical, and he's overpowering. Even though he's undersized, he's overpowering. Yeah. But sometimes him and JV, it's a little bit of a clash, because JV can score, and he needs touches. So I would always think, how come Zion isn't playing more 5? Because you can't really do much with him. He's still going to get 25 and 8, it's whatever. So, and then put JV with the bench unit and let them play through JV. I'm like, you do that, you don't even really need a backup center. You have a center that you can actually play through, the one that's proven. I don't know. That's why it's crazy. Pelicans.
Yeah. You ask like you could probably poll like 10 Pelicans fans, and at least 6 of them will be like, nah, Willie hates JV. He don't never want to play through him. Like, it's a thing that we just be like, bro, what's your issue? What's the deal? Like, Jonas he's been the most reliable Pelican in Willie Green's entire tenure. Like, they got here at the same time. And he's been the most available. And there's, of course, some matchups where he just don't have it. He's not as mobile as some others may be, but he's a workhorse, and he's been there every time we've called on him to do his job. He does it. He shows up. You can't rest him. You can't be like, JV's questionable. No, this man is coming to work. He coming to play. And Willie, like, he's just so like young in his career. Like, he is, how many games? 224 games total in his coaching career. He's 113 and 111. He's just barely over like 500.
His career.
And so, but I will say, Willie, I kind of feel like, I don't want to say he was dealt a bad hand. I think that he's just had terrible luck. His entire first season, he didn't have Zion because Zion broke his foot in the off season getting ready for the season. And then there were times where, when Zion hurt his hamstring in his first year playing under Willie Green, he hurt his hamstring about a month after BI did whatever he did to his toe. So there was a stretch where we didn't have neither one of them, and it's just CJ out there. And so then CJ McCollum's under all this fire. When this man came here, they asked him why he wanted to be here, and he said, have you seen these guys? There's a lot of young talent. He wanted to come here and help these 2 dudes, and his plan was to be the 3rd guy, and he barely ever got to do it until this year. And this is his not his 3rd year, but I mean, this is the 3rd year he's wearing the jersey. It's not his 3rd full season. So it's like, he kind of got a raw end of the deal. Willie got a raw end of the deal. And I think that Willie's still just barely being over 500. Maybe not so many other people would have been able to survive the way he has so far. But it is kind of glaring that they haven't given him any extension. And that contract is up this summer. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I've said my theory so far. Well, let me ask you this. My theory so far has been, maybe Willie Green is like our Mark Jackson of sorts, right? Like maybe the next guy is our Steve Kerr. Maybe the next guy is the one to get us over the hump. A lot of people think that with us bringing James Borrego on, is James Borrego that guy to replace Willie? I don't know, but I like the thing that he does with the violence and speed situation, because Willie got sick one night, and this was like 2 days after the Mavericks beat our ass, and we went out there and beat the Mavericks ass. Like, what he did was, Luka wants to start the pick and roll, him and Derek Lively. They put Herb Jones on Derek Lively. And so when the switch happened, not Herb is on Luka, and Luka's like, hey, yo, what's going on? And we beat their tails, man. And like, Willie would have never done that. He just would have never made that adjustment. So do you think that sounds like something that they could be setting up? Like JB?
I do actually. I actually do like Borrego. He got a raw deal the last time he was a head coach. It was not his fault when they lost. They actually played very well. They did very well. That when they lost, that was not on him. But if you watch, and he had a really good offense, right? And he was really good, a really good coach. Love how he thinks about switches and offense and defense, all that stuff like that. He's really good. And I think that honestly, that is the guy that you need to really unlock you guys offensively and defensively to test things out and understand the strengths of your guys and say, okay, he may be undersized, but he can take him. I bet you he's going to get them the problem. And I think that's what y'all need. I think Willie Green, he's done what he can do, and it's okay, though. It is okay. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you're bad. Yeah. It just means sometimes you have gone as far as you can, and what's next? But that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
For y'all.
To answer,
I don't know what the future holds for him. I would hate to see him go, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. I love y'all's conversation. To answer that, just to add in, I disagree. The next coach for the Pelicans should be Stephen A. Smith. Just hear me out why I say Stephen A. Smith. Just hear me.
I'm finna slam this laptop shut.
Let's just hear my case. Why he should be. I'm joking. I am glad that y'all are whipping this man apart. I was laughing my behind off when I seen that the Pelicans social media team just put out the low lights of Stephen. It was good.
He wilding, bro. Keep it about the hoops, keep it about the hoops. Stephen A. Smith, like, he always talking about this man, what he eating and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, man, you have not been paying attention. Because I'm looking at Zion getting up and down that court, bruh. You ain't paying attention, Stephen A. Like, that dude is moving. And it's like, people have to understand, like, for one, these guys they're human, right? Like, they're entertainers, but we can't just be treating these dudes like, livestock, cat, or whatever. This is a human being. Everybody's body is different. I've lost and gained weight like tons and tons of time. And I was looking at this picture from like 2015. My face was so full, but I'm heavier now than I was then. So like things, you look different, but like I be telling people like there's no way Zion is as heavy as people think he is when I can see his veins sticking out of his bicep. Like, are we looking at the same guy? You know what I mean? So Stephen A. was just talking outside his neck all crazy, bro. I think that he's upset that Zion isn't in New York, and the way to get him there isn't to bully him. And he keeps saying that he want to be here and he's happy here. So maybe you should just get over it. Maybe you should uplift that brother instead of tearing him down in the Lord's Black History Month. You know what I'm saying?
That's not what Stephen A. does. He don't uplift people. He want to tear you down, get the ratings and all that. You know that, like, my man's just averaged 1.5 points in his basketball career. It's like, what?
Yeah, JJ was right about all that, bro. It's all this hot take BS, and people love that stuff, and they like to laugh, and they like to bring up, the porn stars and the strippers and all these things. Y'all talking about everything but basketball, and there were some fair criticisms made around Zion's energy in the in-season tournament. But what have we done?
Nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. It's like, I love hoop, and I'm gonna watch everybody. So I'm gonna watch the Pelicans. And I just
I like them to get their business done in the dark. The Pelicans do stupid things on national TV, which is why when they flexed us on the national TV yesterday, I was upset because this is second half of a back-to-back, and we also be playing dumb. And we always like, oh man, the Pelicans playing in front of the host tonight. What we about to do? About to do something crazy. I hate that. But like in the playoffs, you can't hide. The playoffs, you're going to be on national TV, so you better figure it out. Get them jitters out. You know what I mean? But like you said, in the playoffs, that was fun. When they was playing against Phoenix, that was a good time, and they didn't even have Zion. So like, I was like, what's gonna happen when he get in there? I feel like Willie felt like we was close. Willie was crying at the end of that series, and there was so much emotion. He wanted to beat his former mentor and Monty Williams and all of that stuff. And like, I feel like he thought we really could have beat them, and I thought we could have too. But like, it was just an experience thing, and it's what they needed to clinch that game was Chris Paul going perfect from the floor. So like, what does that say? If he hadn't gone perfect from the floor, we might have beat them that series. So. What can you do?
No, I feel that. Hey, I love it. I love that. So, and the Pelicans has always been one of my favorite teams to watch this year. So, shout out to the Pelicans. Well, we appreciate y'all. Appreciate you coming on to Celtics Rewind, chit chatting with us on the Boston Celtics and the New Orleans Pelicans. You make great content. Tell the people where they can find you at so they can follow your amazing work.
Yeah, it's relmyers.com, RELMYERS. I got my website. I got, and it's the same screen name on every platform, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. I do a lot of name that player videos on TikTok and things like that, and it be getting people in their feelings. But it's just fun, man. Like, I'm not trying to call people casual. If they end up being casual, that's on them. That's on them. I'm just a messenger. But I'm just having fun. I love talking to all these other fan bases, and a lot of Pelicans fans be like, "Oh, what are you doing talking to them?" I'm like, "Bro, like, you don't like basketball? Like, I'm just making friends. That's just me. I'm just trying to chat with everybody." So I welcome any new interactions that I may get from, being on the pod and things like that. But yeah, check out the website, check out the content. It's just a good time. I try to keep it light, try not to do too much hating, Don't search anything I said about the Celtics because I'll probably be hating on them because I just want to win, man. I'll be jealous. Like,
right now.
I'll be jealous, damn. And and not to I know we getting ready to wrap this up, but I'm gonna go back because you was talking about how the Celtics be getting on your nerves and things like that. But I feel like I would kill to be in your place because how many times have y'all missed the playoffs in the last 20 years? It's like no more than 5. Like, I'm trying to get there. I get what you're saying, but there's people who want to be where you at. That's all I'm saying.
It's like rich people.
That's where I land my
plane. That they got money. It's like, yeah, it's like, but I still got problems. I still go through things. That's how I be feeling sometimes. Like, they just stress me,
I'm the same way. I'm still going through it. I'm still
recovering about the turnovers. I'm like, oh my God, Jason Tatum had like turnovers, and my therapist like, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, I feel bad. Like, I feel horrible. I hate it. Did you watch these people? So, but I feel you. Wow. I ain't crying too much. I know that I'm very lucky, but we went through some rough times, but we at where we at, and I wish the Pelicans the best.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I went through the Jerry Sullinger era, so I don't want to remember that era. But even though he was a good player, but I don't remember that era.
Wait a minute. Not too much on Jared Sullinger. Wait a minute.
My bad. My bad.
Flag on the play.
This was the only name.
Flag on the play. Shout out to Jared Sullinger. I wish you the best, brother. I miss you on this team. The faults were not all yours. Want him to know that.
And that's how we wrap up episode 16 of the Celtics Rewind. I'm JP the franchise. She's Nat The GM, and that's Jerry Sullinger. I'm sorry, and we are out here. Peace, y'all.